Hi, Rob Des. Okay. これは Unit 8. これは Unit 8. Okay. このシートは練習しましょう. Okay. まず最初は Zyro o Hakaru Toki ni Dari no Spoon. Good. これは O. Should be O. ごめんなさい。ちょっと待って。Good. Dari no Spoon. O. 使いますか? Okay? So, 英語で、まず最初. So, 英語で, whose spoons do you use to measure ingredients? Okay, so, Zyro o hakaru toki ni dari no spoon o tsukaimasu ka? Whose spoons do you use to measure ingredients? Okay, so, まず最初は whose. Whose wa dari no. Whose spoon? Dari no spoon. Or whose spoons? 例えば whose Coke? Mine. Whose scissors? Dari no Hasami. Okay. Let's see. Whose marker? Dari no Maka. Whose marker? Okay. And so on. So whose? Whose spoons? Dari no spoon. Okay. Do you use? 覚えてください。あなたは do you. So use は使いますか？use は使い、なんとかを使いますか? So whose spoons do you use? And then 次は okay, so to measure, to measure. Hakaru toki ni to measure. So whose spoons do you use to measure? To measure. Hakaru toki ni to measure. And 最後は ingredients は zyro. Zyro. Okay, so whose spoons do you use to measure ingredients? Okay, ちょっと一緒に練習しましょう. Okay, so まず最初は紙. 例えば紙. Okay, okay, 紙を測るときに誰の、定規を使いますか? Okay, 英語では何ですか? Okay, 紙, paper, 定規は定規、定規、定規、定規、あるけどどこわかりない。定規は ruler. Okay? So, 紙は paper. 紙は paper. 定規は ruler. Okay? Ruler. So, 紙を測るときに誰の定規を使いますか？英語で5秒ビデオ止めてください。答え作ってください。Okay. 答えは Whose ruler do you use to measure paper? Whose ruler do you use to measure paper? Okay. 次. Okay. Key. Key 英語で tree. Tree. Okay. And これは、ちょっと待って。忘れた。So, Makijaku, tape measurer. Makijaku, tape measurer. Tape, tape measure. Makijaku, tape measure. Okay. So, ki o hakaru toki ni dari no makijaku o tsukaimasu ka? Eigo de kotaete kudasai. 5秒. Okay. Answer. Okay. So, tape measure. Go man. Whose tape measure do you use to measure trees? Whose tape measure do you use to measure trees? Okay, now, kore wa tsukute kudasai. Okay, Zyro o hakaru toki ni dari no spoon o tsukaimasu ka? Okay, measure ingredients, you do spoons to, whose use. Gobyo. Okay, kotai wa whose spoons do you use to measure ingredients? Whose spoons do you use to measure ingredients? Okay. 次は Okay. So, あなたはどんな種類のものを焼くのが好きですか？英語で What kind of things do you like to bake? Okay? So, これは前よりちょっと簡単と思います。Okay? まず最初は What kind of things? どんな What kind? What kind? Okay? What kind? どんな Okay? Now, shuri no mono ego de, okay? Shuri no mono ego de, things, okay? So, what kind of things? これはちょっと練習したい。例えば、what kind of food? Okay? どの種類の食べ物? What kind of sports? どの種類の sports? What kind of dogs? どの種類の犬? Okay? So, what kind of なんとか? What kind of Coke? どの種類のコーラ? What kind of chocolate? どの種類のチョコ? Okay? So and so on. So what kind of things? What kind? Donna shuri no mono o. What kind of things? Okay. Moikai, do you? Okay. Do you anata wa like ski desu ka? Okay. So what kind of things do you like? Okay. So, 例えば、あなたはどんな種類のものo sorry, anata wa dono shuri no sushi o suki desu ka? What kind of sushi do you like? Okay, so anata wa dono shuri no sports o suki desu ka? What kind of sports do you like? Now, saigo wa, you've got to bake, yakudo, to bake. So, what kind of things do you like to bake? Okay, anata wa どんな種類のものを焼くのが好きですか? What kind of things do you like to bake? Okay, ちょっと練習しましょう。Okay, 折り紙、英語と同じ。So, okay. So, and 作るは make. Okay? So, あなたはどの種類の折り紙を作る to make. ちょっと待って。Make my. I think that's ごめん、漢字はちょっと心配。作る。あなたはどの種類の折り紙を作る ?OK、作るのが好きですか？英語で作ってください。Okay. What kind of do you like? Okay. 答えは What kind of origami do you like to make? What kind of origami do you like to make? Okay? もう一つ。Okay? 次。あなたはどんな種類の映画を見るのが好きですか？ Okay? 英語で作ってください。Okay? Good. What kind of movies do you like to watch? Okay. So, もう一回。あなたはどんな種類のものを焼くのが好きですか？ Kind bake you things to what like of do. これを作ってください。英語で。Okay. 答えは What kind of things do you like to bake? Okay. Great. Okay. 最後。どうやってスプーンをかきますか？どのスプーンをかき混ぜますか？ ?Okay? So, どうやってスープをかき混ぜますか？難しい。これは簡単。How do you stir your soup? How do you stir your soup? とても簡単。Okay? まず最初、how. How is どうやって。How is どうやって Okay, so how, どうやって Okay, how do you あなたはどうやってスープを Okay, how do you Okay, 次は stir is かきますか Stir is かきますか And your soup Okay, your soup, nan demo mono. Tatoeba, how do you stir? Tatoeba, how do you stir your cocoa? How do you stir your miso soup? How do you stir your mayonnaise? How do you stir nantaka nantaka? Okay, so let's practice this really quickly. Okay, so okay, anata wa doyate soup o kakimazemasu ka? How do you stir your soup? Okay, so tsugi wa how do you so okay, anata wa doyate kohi o kakimazemasu ka? Eigo de 5 seconds. Kotai wa how do you stir your coffee? Totemo kantan. How do you stir your coffee? Tsugi wa anata wa doyate beef stew o kakimazemasu ka? Eigo de, how do you stir? Okay, okay. Taiwan. How do you stir your beef stew? Okay, Saigo. Doyate supo kakimazemasu ka? Eigo de, your house stir do soup you. 5 seconds. Okay. Kotaiwa, how do you stir your soup? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. もし何か質問あれば、いつでも テキ試験頑張ってください。もちろん質問あれば、すぐ言ってください。お疲れ様でした。Thank you.